the words does an amazing job. So if there's somebody there who has a feeling for this poem and would like to read it, just let us know and we'll participate together. Well, I guess I'll read it. At the edge of the body, there is said to be a flaming halo, yellow, red, blue, or pure white, taking its color from the state of the soul. Taking its color from the state of the soul. Cynics scoff. Scientists make graphs to refute it. Editorial writers, journalists, and even certain poets claim it is only mirage, trumped up finery, illusory feathers, spiritual shenanigans, humbug. But in dreams we see it, and sometimes even waking. If the spirit is a bride about to be married to God, this is her veil. Do I believe it? Do I squint and regard the perimeter of my lover's body, searching for some sign that his soul is about to ignite the sky? Without squinting, I almost see it, an angry red aura changing to white, the color of peace. I gaze at the place where he turns into air, and the flames of his skin combine with the flames of the sky, proving the existence of both. Where the flames of his skin combine with the flames of the sky, proving the existence of both. So rest in those words for a moment, seeing what naturally comes for you. And seeing if we can ourselves begin to inhabit this body. And the way we begin is by inclining, right, directing, gently turning the mind towards the awareness of this whole body sitting here. We're just going to rest there for a moment. This is always a beautiful beginning. Feel the sense of the whole body breathing. And as we're entering, combining the flames of the mind, the body, the spirit, the soul, as we inhabit, dwell within, seeing if you can recollect, or maybe even better, feel into the felt sense of what you love, what you connect to, the beauty of this precious human life accorded to you, offered to few. Remembering our motivation, our aspirations, and our intention for practice. Breathing in, breathing right into the heart space, into the lungs, expanding the ribs, creating space and room for these beautiful intentions. And a very beautiful friend lost her son this week, 32-year-old young man. Sounded like a lovely young man, a lovely spirit. And I'm going to call him to mind and seeing if there's someone else for you, a special one, to whom we would also choose to dedicate this practice. The flame of his skin now combined with the flame of the sky. And may this practice be of benefit to Daniel, to those in need, to those we love, to all beings everywhere, without exception. And that's often a big heart stretch, without exception. Omitting none. Freeing us all. And we have now enlivened both the body and the awakened heart mind, that bodhicitta, enlivened, inflamed from Erica Jong's poem. And we're going to see if we can't begin to pour this, you might think of it as liquid awareness, liquid light into the body slowly. There are many levels to this neurosomatic body. And so we're going to begin first by dropping our attention as best we can from the whole of the body down into the area of the feet. And we're just going to see if we can make contact with the sense of the feet in contact with the floor, the bed, the covers, some area of skin in contact, maybe in contact with space. And then moving up from the feet, up the lower leg, feeling where the lower leg is in contact, maybe with the back of the chair, again, a blanket, a bed. Seeing if we can experience as best we can after we observe particular sensations there. Moving up into the connective tissue, the joint of the knee, feeling its torque, its bend. The upper legs. Just going to move up, making contact noticing, witnessing, becoming attentive to the body, right on the skin's surface, moving up into the hip, the pelvic region, feeling the weight of the body there. Pouring this liquid light awareness into the body, filling it with awareness as we go. Moving up then beyond the hips into the lower abdomen and the base of the spine. Noticing. What are you in contact with here? From the base of the spine and the lower abdomen up into the mid-torso, moving up into the belly, maybe beginning to approach the mid-back. As we breathe in, breathing up the body, filling it with the light of awareness. Up into the ribs, the mid-spine, the chest, the breasts, the shoulder blades. The expanding and contracting experience of the ribs. The heart. The beating of the heart. Feel the inflating and deflating quality of the lungs. Breathing you. Maybe the upper back. The shoulders, both front and back. Up into the neck and throat. Face, the ears, the back of the head, all resting on that pinpoint of the spine. Touching up into the top of the head. Filling oneself with this liquid light of awareness. And then breathing down, touching into the shoulders, the arms, the hands. Letting the arms be soft and relaxed. The shoulders be released. Letting the hands rest. Feeling their warmth or coolness. Being filled with liquid light of awareness. And then just opening for another moment to the whole body at this skin level. We can feel the sense of inhabiting the body more now. more present, more mindful. More aware, more attentive, anchoring to the present moment through this very body. We are not judging, criticizing, evaluating. We are not opinionating. We have no bias or prejudice. We are simply noticing the body and body sensations. Seeing if there's any gratitude, appreciation, for all that this body does in its regulating, circulating, and then holding this body as a whole in that filled container of the body, filled now with this light of awareness. See if you can feel beyond the skin surface. See if you can notice that sense of electricity, maybe, an aliveness, a vibrancy, maybe a sense of pulsing or tingling. And just seeing where you notice that at points in the body. Maybe an aliveness in the hands or the feet. Maybe a particular joint. That sense of, it's almost an electric impulse, signaling our aliveness. And just recognizing, noticing, and observing that sensation as best you can, wherever in the body you most notice it. And when thoughts arise, thinking part of just what the mind does, we just let it flow in the background. Paying it no, never mind. Not getting distracted or pushing away, just letting it float around. And coming back again and again to that experience of aliveness. And then you may recognize particular sensations happening in other parts of the body. And for right now, just for a few moments, we're just going to let the mind move about the body, waving over and through, recognizing those particular sensations. Might be coolness or warmth, contact points. a sense of pulsing or tingling. You may even notice a sense of numbness, a tightness, a block, maybe even a felt sense of emptiness might happen. We're just going to check in with the body as it's breathing. And with each breath, we're going to see if we can begin to reside, actually drop the mind into the body. And for some people, the waving of the attention over the body actually can become a slight distraction for you. And that's not uncommon actually for some people. And so then what you can do is actually place the mind and one's attention somewhere in the center part of the body. And I just find a spot that's somewhere really just beneath the navel there. And then you can just imagine the attention expanding to the outer limits of the body, down to the toes of the body, up to the top of the head of the body, touching all aspects of the body, and then just settling with the out breath back into that center point. For some people, that offers a slightly more stable mind. Just see how it works for you. Of course, we know there's no one way. Use your body mind's wisdom to inhabit, to dwell within, to bring presence completely into this embodied sense. You may notice the movement of the ribs, the intercostal tissue, muscles expanding and contracting with each breath. The movement of the belly. Or maybe the whole sense of the body expanding and contracting. See if you can bring a curiosity, a genuine care and interest to knowing this body exactly as it is. Pleasant sensations, neutral sensations, unpleasant sensations. Letting them move about the body while the mind attends. Body-centered awareness. And then beginning to sense that from that noticing, that recognizing, that witnessing, that observing, just by its nature, as we attend, we begin to inhabit the body. Now bringing mind and body together, we begin sensing, feeling, experiencing. And then we're going to move beyond the skin surface, although it's likely already happened to some degree just from inhabiting, dwelling within the body a bit more. We're going to move, though, on purpose now beyond the skin surface. We're going to begin to move deeper into the body. And so from that skin surface, that level of awareness, we're going to take a step in to feeling the sense of muscle, tendon, ligament. Just one little drop inward beyond the skin surface. We can hold the whole body. We can drop into the center point and feel its wholeness. We can wave or flow, moving throughout the body. See which works for you, and sometimes we do often do both. We're beginning to attend to a slightly different level within the body. We're seeing if we can be open, receptive, equanimous. See if you can relate to each sensation with equal interest, openness, kindness. Include the whole body. Remember, we're radiating this awareness, this liquid awareness, now being poured into each muscle, each tendon, each ligament. We've taken off that layer of skin to make most direct contact. First, remembering that we recognize, we notice, we witness. And I'd like you to see if you can go deeper into the experience, into the muscle, into the tendon, into the ligament itself. This is experiencing. If you notice that you're getting caught in a particular area of the body, two things. One is to give yourself some time there, seeing what the muscle, the tissue has to tell you. But being watchful not to fixate. There is muscle, ligament, tendon, connective tissue throughout the whole body, from the toes all the way to the top of the head. What is the direct felt sense? The knowing of this layer of the body. And then we're going to move even deeper beyond the muscles into the circulation system, the blood flow, the vessels, the capillaries, the arteries. Moving deeper into the body, see if we can sense, feel, know this experience. And then research the body for a moment. This is the witness and recognizing. Where is that available? And as an example, I just noticed a very strong pulse in my thumbs. And so the recognizer, the witness, noticed. I went into the area of the thumbs, placed the attention gently there. And then I actually imagined myself really moving completely into the thumbs. No separation between the witness and the object, just really embodying presence in these thumbs. In this felt sense of throbbing, pulsing. knowing the circulation in the thumbs. And interestingly, I'm noticing that that is informing my sense of knowing. And I can now feel that quality in other parts of the body. And so then I'm expanding and opening to include that sense, that experience, that knowing in other parts of the body. The back of my hands kind of lit up with that awareness. Also the tops of my feet. And just see how you notice this pulsing circulation sense in this body. Of course, the beating of your own heart. As a source for that pulsing. And then we're going to move once again deeper into the body beyond the circulation, the muscles. We're going to move directly into the torso, into organs in the body. Moving into the center just to feel the sense of organs and recognizing. You may have a felt sense of weight. Contact, maybe the organs against some other aspect of the body. Breathing in to this layer of the body, feeling the sense, the aliveness, the vibrancy, whatever's available there. Movements of gases, of fluids. Of air. The lungs, the heart, the spleen, the diaphragm, the gallbladder, the upper and lower abdomen, the belly, the livers, the kidneys. Intestines. We can even include, of course, the eyes, the brain, the olfactory sense organs, nose, the ears, the mouth. Moving deep into the body. Experiencing the body at the level of the organs. Embodied presence. And beyond the organs, we can begin to make contact with the bone, living part of the body. Maybe a sense of solidness, of weight, of structure, some sense of stability as we feel into the bone. The thick bone of the skull. The fine bone in the areas of feet. Knowing and from the bone to the marrow, beginning to make contact with the processes of the creation, the multiplication of cells, the aliveness of the marrow. And then opening to the processes of the body, the digestion, the respiration, the circulation. Just opening awareness beyond the form of the body, right into the processes of the body. Recognizing, noticing, and then moving deeper, sensing, feeling, knowing. We can include the sense doors: hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. Seeing, sensing. And then opening to include all aspects of the body experience. Liquid awareness holding the whole body, each layer, each part, each process, each sense, holding it in the whole. And then no matter where you make contact, begin in the recognizing, the noticing. That's how it begins. And then move deeper. Direct sensing, feeling, experiencing. Deep presence and knowing. This whole body being. Completely unified, joined, inhabited, present. Resting in embodied presence. Completely alive, wakeful. embodied. Present. May this practice be of benefit. And seeing if we can stay embodied, not moving out beyond the body, but staying within the body, and then opening to include maybe seeing when you're ready, and also then inviting a gentle movement of the body. Just seeing if we can begin to open, create a little flexibility and hydration in the body, offering some stretching. But seeing if you can stay in the body, not leave it for some thinking, narrating, or opinionating about the body. Better to be in it. And so I don't want to say too much because the experience really is the teacher, but I'll say a little to help inform us. What we know is that there are at least two neural systems that work in the body. There is the default mode or network in the body, and that's that brain stem, that autonomic lizard brain default mode, and also then includes habits, neural habits, neural patterns that we can easily default into without awareness, without a presence, without an embodied sense. And then beyond that default mode, there is also what they call task positive network. And we would think of the task positive network maybe more as directed, intentioned attention. Directed. We gather our attention. We have the capacity for doing so. We place the attention with intention. That is the practice we just did. Task positive network activation in this neurosomatic experience. So one of my first questions to you is, could you notice any felt sense, body sense, between being caught in that default network and mode and then activating the task positive network in embodied presence? Could you feel any difference in your experience between knowing one neural pathway versus opening beyond that to include the task positive network? Could anybody sense that? You can either come online and talk about that, or actually chat a little bit about it. We'll try to stay in contact both ways. Could you feel any difference, and what was the felt sense, if you noticed that at all? I'll have a sip of my gifted iced coffee here. That's my little treat on the weekend. My beloved. What did you notice? And then go ahead. Thank you, Anthony. Hi.
Hi, Diana. Hi, everyone. So, I don't know if this has to do with default mode versus task positive, but I did notice that as the practice deepened and as I got out of the thinking mind and into the somatic sense, I lost, any perceivable boundaries of my body. That there wasn't the sense of a separateness was kind of lost, and it, blended into just this cloud of sensation, which was kind of directly associated with all other sense perceptions, sounds in my environment. Just the temperature of the air, everything blended, and it was really positive and really unitive. And I couldn't help but think that if that is dropping out of default mode into task positive, it would make sense in relation to, I started thinking about just right now, flow states, and how if, particularly engaged in a really, really intense activity, athletic activity or whatever, the sense of effortlessness and a blending with the environment, a blending with whatever it is that you're interacting with is seamless, effortless, and just kind of I don't know if you know anything about that, or if that's even relevant to this thing, but I couldn't help but think it makes sense in the context of a task positive, the wording. Yes. So anyway, that was cool and cool. Very enjoyable.
That was cool. Yes, I loved your word unitive. It is in fact unifying beyond, and what you're talking about was actually what I was curious about for people. Did you notice that once we inhabit the body doesn't keep a separateness, you were saying, from either itself, its experience, or that which is around it? You're exactly right. It's unifying and also non-dual. And then we move from these dualistic self, other, subject, object, recognizer, recognized. Everybody understanding what I'm saying? These separated disconnected, objectified. We could then say what? Fixated. Everybody get what I'm saying? You understand the sense? We tend to see the world in this way, me and it. And it's really so destructive, isn't it? It's dangerous. It's false. And when we can finally really inhabit our experience, the body, and beginning right in the body, says the Buddha, right in the body. These teachings come from 2,600 years, by the way. We have fancy words now, like neurosomatic, but wow, the Buddha was naming the parts of the body 2,600 years ago, saying, know this and know the path to all things. Can you get that idea? By knowing this, we can know the truth, the true nature of all things. And so join, unify, become whole, not only with ourselves, but with everything. And that was the quality I was curious about. What other experiences did you have? Chris, I see your little chat. Fabulous, another injury. Good job, buddy. Yeah, perfect. Were you able to just be with, be in, really present to? Because that's where the healing's going to come, whatever surgeries we get or we don't.
Yeah, it was kind of, I've been hurt a lot, over the course of my life, and usually those are pretty disruptive to my life in a lot of ways. This time I'm just like, well, I'm just going to flow with it, go with it, and see where it lands. And it was just funny that we're doing a body scan today and my knee's just throbbing the whole time, and I just kind of had to laugh through the whole practice.
So you were able to, some part of you was able to hold it or include it and actually even almost enjoy, right? The sort of
rather than becoming painful, it just became another source of comedy.
Yes, lovely. I love that, because actually, Chris, what you're saying, we happen to know, is that everyone's fear, particularly trauma sensitive fear, is that once we get in the body, we're going to be in distress, right? We often feel that. And in fact, we have, all of us, cultivated some get me out of here, get me out of experience, get me out of the body, get me over there where I'll be dissociated, disconnected, and safer. And in fact, what we know is there's no way to healing. There's no way to unification, Anthony's word. There's no way to wholeness. And I will include holiness. What did Erica Jung say? The body is the veil you wear as you marry yourself to God. Is that beautiful? The veil you wear as you marry yourself to God. Now we're, of course, when we use the word God, that becomes both personal and universal, right? Your personal sense of that, as well as that universal connection, that universal belonging, that humanity connection to all humanity, and then all that is beyond it, that definition of God, right? And can we inhabit, really, then, our experience in this way? Less fear, less pain, yes. And that we can include it all as a part of the whole without distress. And this is something I was hoping you could all feel today. Does anybody know how long we were there meditating? Any sense of that? Yes, this journey is to achieve this sense of wholeness and depth, the whole of our being. And we have to practice. Remember, if we're leaving it to chance, we're going to fall into the default mode in a way that's going to disconnect, create subject-object, deconstruct, separate us in a way that is not useful and will lead to distress. We know it for sure. Will lead to our distress. Did anybody notice whatever it was, like Chris? I caught the knee, I caught the burning thing, I caught the itchy thing, I noticed the pulsing thing. Whatever it was just a part, wasn't it? It wasn't the storyline. It wasn't the whole deal. Here's Chris even with the injury going, okay, knee. There you go. You get a knee, you get a surgery, you use it, you break a knee, right? But no longer, and this is a key point, no longer identified. No longer, isn't it funny that we could be so completely embodied, but not identify, cling, fixate, squeeze out this aliveness, but actually smile right at it, actually smiling at it.
Good morning, Diana. This is Ryan.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning to everyone. I thank you for that framing, because that's what my initial experience was just a lot of resistance and like clenching, and it was cool to see the transition, or experience the transition from a lot of resistance and twitching and ailments or whatever was going on inside the body, becoming aware of that, and then transitioning to including that all and getting to a place where that subsided, like those things that were, was perceiving it to hold me back, kind of fell away as I came back to the breath and just continued with going deeper. Some of those systems were, it was definitely, I felt like it was a step up the staircase, so to speak, as I was kind of evolving through, the different sensory stuff to the vascular systems. That was very helpful to guide me kind of past some of those things that we identify with,
Yeah, the stuck points, we could call them, couldn't we?
Right.
The stuck points of subject object. We don't even regard the body as really ours in these ways. There's the mind, in its twirl and its distress, going, ugh, the body, this of the body, and that is like this other thing, right? That's not even ours, us, and interconnected with all things. And, you and Chris have a beautiful juxtaposed and then, collected experience of, wow, by inhabiting, indwelling, really getting into presence, really everything becomes whole, workable, ours, not separated, not disconnected. And then eventually, by the way, what do? We actually include others. It's no longer even the body limit here. We actually include the body, the self, the knowing as the whole, really. And this is what we mean when we say, married, this body that is then married to God, really larger than any limited, right? But look at how we begin. We can't even stand, right? We can't stand that, like itchy, tight, like get me out of here. And that's that default mode network, the neural network that is going to win. By the way, it will win and create our suffering without training, without practice, without commitment and intention. It will win and cause so much significant distress. This is trauma-based work, by the way. We do this work in trauma-sensitive situations as well. We just begin, if we can't begin in the body, because the body is so disconnected, so dissociated, so activated, so other in trauma, that we begin to climb in slowly where we can, often beginning with a sense door. often beginning in a sense door. Can I just open the ear door to hearing and begin including hearing, and then begin to open another sense door and another?
Diana, one more thing that I
Yeah.
wanted to add is I've been pretty consistently doing Sam Harris's app. He's got a great app, and there's a lot of great resources in there. And the daily meditation I've found, I kind of switch it up. Some days I like just meditating in silence without guidance, and then sometimes I find his guided meditations to be great. But one thing that he was mentioning the other day was just becoming aware, very distinctly aware when we transition to new elements of when we transition to, say, from washing the dishes to walking downstairs, or I found that to be really interesting. Where a lot of times we just kind of blow that stuff off, and we just, like you're saying, default mode network, we just have done these things, we get into a habit. But it's pretty interesting to become really aware what we're doing in that moment, and the transition, and how to become aware of it in that moment before you start doing it.
Yes. And so the Buddha himself, once again, boy, that guy was so smart. The Buddha said, start to notice the movement from sitting to standing, from standing to walking, from walking to lying, and actually become aware in these transition moments, these subtle, embodied, right? Because the body's there. The body is in fact moving from sitting to standing, from standing to walking, from walking to lying. The body, you have to really know, right? Sense, embodied, right? And so even before moving to dishwashing, wax on, wax off, right? Whatever we're doing there, we actually, it's best to stay in the body directly and making the transitions, recognizing, that was going to be my little weekly practice invitation. Interesting, Ryan. So thank you. Was really beginning to embody, get a few breaths, get the sense of the wholeness, the aliveness of the body, and then notice the body in its transition. Sitting to standing, standing to walking, walking to lying. You will be doing that thousands of times a day. Look at the possibilities for embodied presence. If we just attended there, like you miss everything, but you just catch these little moments, look at the wakefulness, the invitation to presence that will be available to you there. And so that's going to be our homework, by the way, for this week. So thank you, Ryan, for that reminder. Really beautiful practice work. If we can't open, include, rest in, dwell in the body, then presence actually becomes impossible. Can you sense that? Without the body, the sense doors, and in fact, the Buddha said, what? There is only this, the 5 sense doors, and the mind that knows it. Everything else is constructed. Everything else is narrated, but this. There is only this, the 5 sense doors, and the mind that knows it. Embodied presence. Can we begin together like this? I want to thank you all so much for this practice today. We will make sure to get this as well as the other practices. I was away this week. It was Father's Day, and there were many, many things happening this week. And so I have not been able to get the recordings, to Leslie and to Tyler to get up, and I apologize for that. Also, our newsletter, just for those of you who know, several people have asked, the newsletter has not been here for 2 weeks as a result of that, me doing too many things and needing to just let some things go for a time. And so that newsletter just went away, and we'll be back this Sunday. And thank you for your understanding and your patience around that. It's almost time to go, so I'm going to do one more little check-in, just see if there's anything essential.
I have kind of a housekeeping question.
Yes, Leanne.
So when I go into the site, I
Which
do
one?
like everyday mindfulness. When I go into the site to make, because I do like to make a contribution.
Yeah, that would be better done at encinitasmindfulness.org.
Right. And it always asks like, and tell me if this is the wrong venue to do this in, because I can ask in another place. But it asks me to give to the teacher or to EMC or to just EMC or the teacher. It would be wonderful to have some guidance of how that's best distributed on our end, or how we can be helpful when able to make a contribution.
So are you asking specifically about that division?
Yeah, I don't understand like what's the best, where does it go? So I just usually divide it because I don't understand it. So I just throwing it out there. Again, I don't know if this is the right venue, but I really understand how important that support is and want to understand where I can best give it.
Thank you. Thank you. So yes, they are different places. They don't go to the same place, and they don't provide, although they all provide both EMC and these teachings. If you identify the teacher, the money will go directly to me or whoever is teaching.
Okay.
So if today you were to do that and write 50% goes to the teacher, it would go directly to me.
Okay.
Carrie writes a check, right? If you write it to EMC, then it goes to things like our technology costs, our support costs, our marketing, I don't mean marketing, I mean like our website costs.
Your overhead.
Yeah.
Kind
And
of stuff.
other costs, retreat, for example, scholarship costs, as well as our service projects. So
it's good to include that as well as the teacher.
Oh yeah,
Both.
because that's holding up the teachings in a really essential way.
Thank you.
And the service projects are in there as well. The service projects. There were a few exceptions, just to be clear, and then we're going to finish. In the month of May, all the monies that came to the teacher, as well as the MBSR class, as well as the retreat, all those monies went to our service projects.
Yes.
And designated that way, but that would not be our usual. Now that we're in June, if you say teacher, it's going to go right to me to support the teacher and the teachings. If you say EMC, just like we.
Okay, thanks. I didn't mean to stray away.
I think it's important, Leanne. That's
I do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because we don't always get like, what am I doing? Who? What am I doing? And if the board has any thoughts, I see some board members here. If you guys have any thoughts about other distinctions to make, I think that's basically.
I think based on what you said, it's always important to support the teacher and the teachings and the organization. So I'm going to do both. I hope everybody does too.
Yes. Yeah.
I know nobody really likes to say that, but it's out there. Thanks.
Without the other. One cannot exist without the other.
Jim put the link up at the very beginning on the chat. So the link for donation is up.
Is up there. So that's where you can go to then make those designations. I see Jim did that. Thank you. We are practicing, of course, Dana Paramita. We are practicing, by the way, just to say a word about it, we're practicing Dana Paramita as a board as well. We, besides the giving of the Sangha, to EMC, the board is really working hard with due diligence, I can say, really legitimately, to try to understand best how to make that beautiful contribution of $10,000, which was an incredible offering. And Donna, by our community, we're really investigating carefully how best to do that, how it can best be of service, how it can best offer welfare and benefit to others. And it has been slightly uncomfortable, a slightly don't know. We don't have complete clarity about that, but that's a beautiful part of the work we've been doing this week, which is also then Sila or Shila Paramita, which is the disciplined effort that leads to wisdom. You can't just go flinging stuff around in hope that it all works out, which is why I appreciated Leanne's question. That by itself is Sila Paramita, the responsibility that comes with all giving, the responsibility that comes with giving, and then ultimately the wisdom from which we offer. So thank you all so much for that. That was a beautiful, complete circle of conversation today. Can we please continue to make contact and join presence, embodied presence, and then offer with responsibility, commitment, what we have. We're going to sit together for just a moment here, finding the body once again. And as we breathe in, seeing if we can't invite in that liquid light of awareness, filling the whole body. See if you notice how much easier it is picking up qualities of aliveness, contact, sensations, and then moving deeper. May we dedicate the merits, the blessings, the benefits, and this complete, unified, embodied presence. May we offer this to the end of suffering and the realization of true happiness and freedom. May we offer this to ourselves, to those we love, to those in need, and to those special ones that we have called to mind, heart today. May we all have happiness and the causes for happiness. Embodied happiness. May we all be free from suffering and the causes for suffering. Embodied freedom. May we all take great joy at our good fortune and offering that good fortune and its blessings to others. Embodied Dana Paramita. May we all rest and dwell in this embodied presence that includes everything. May we remember our own true nature, alive, wakeful, embodied, present. And may this practice today contribute. So be it. Thank you all for your practice, your presence, your Dana Paramita and Sila Paramita. May we all be well. Blessings and love to you. Thank you all. I'll leave the chat up for a moment in case there's a critical question or something. I'll see you on Monday evening at 8 p.m. if you choose that, or Tuesday morning at 7. Much love. Bye-bye.